All right, we got Tucker Davidson with us today, y'all. I can't believe that I got him here, and he's like a cool dude. Like, he's a busy man. Season's over with, but he's willing to sit down and chat with me, so that's awesome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tucker, what's up, dog?
What's up, dude?
Hey, so look, Tucker has the real version of one of these.
I do.
Y'all, so Tucker from Texas.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about where you're from.
I'm from Amarillo, Texas, kind of a small town in the northern part of Texas, about 5 hours from Dallas, but born and raised there, and then went to junior college at Midland, Texas, and then got drafted by the Braves in 2016 and was part of the team last year, and then was traded at the trade deadline this year to the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah, so of course, I was following you along the whole way and everything, and you met Travis today. That was at that game, Game 5. That was the game that Duvall hit the homer, the grand slam, and then Freddie hit a tank.
Yes,
that
yes,
game
it was.
too.
Yes,
that was fire.
That was a fire game.
So that was a big time opportunity for you to be out there on the bump for that one too, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of projected me into like the playoff atmosphere without like having any experience. So it was really fun, and I look back on it and just the success we had, and just kind of learned from it.
Yeah, for sure. And like me watching you and rooting for you, like along with Drew Waters, we already talked about this earlier, but like just seeing you all get more opportunity and progression in your career. Is great. 'Cause a lot of times we don't get to deal with great people like you until maybe like later down the road. But seeing you in your prime and grinding and pushing hard is pretty awesome.
It is. I love to go out there and put in the work. I fell in love with it. Kind of, I think really in college I was like, I'm invested in this, like getting better each day and taking care of myself and just different things. And it's been fun. I'm good friends with Drew Waters, and he hooked me up over here. So thankful for him, and I'm glad he's thriving in Kansas City.
Yeah, no doubt. Tuck, your TikToks are pretty savage. So what's your it's at Tuck, right?
Yeah, at Tuck. Pretty much that's all socials. I think Twitter's like Tuck6.
Y'all got to follow. Y'all got to follow Tuck. He does some fire.
I got some good stuff on there. I try to keep it light, kind of keep it fun, but it's just kind of a inside way I can kind of showcase like my personality, and then just like different little things we do on the road, or like whatever we're doing that day, or behind the scenes in the locker room of like, hey, this is where we get dressed, this is where we do everything. Stuff that nobody really gets to see. And I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, at 15 years old, that's what I would want to see on TikTok. And that's where everybody was. And it started to gain some momentum on that, and then took off in the playoffs last year. So I'm real thankful for it. Yeah.
Like my son was like tagging me and like sharing it to me. He's like, check this out. Check out what he just posted. It's cool to see that nothing's like, this is not scripted. Me and Tuck, we're just like, let's do this, and we're just in here dialoguing.
Just hanging out. Yeah.
I don't like scripted anything. So just the creative side of what you're doing on social media is really cool. That's that's kind of what is so good about it, because it's just each individual's own way to create and be unique.
Right. It's raw and authentic.
Yep. Speaking of unique, the whole reason why Tucker's here today, he got a very unique truck today.
I did.
Tell us a little about this truck you got, Tucker.
I got a F-150 Platinum, and man, it is a beautiful truck, that's for sure. The carbonized gray, got it on some nice fuel wheels. I mean, it looks sick, and you crushed it.
It's a game changer for sure. I mean, like, it's when you pull up to the clubhouse, I mean, of course there'll be the Porsches or whatever, but you pull up in that, it's going to take notice. Like, you pull up in that truck, it's like, dang, what's Tuck riding?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing up to spring training. I'm just like, whoa, when'd you get that? I'm like, I don't know.
Absolutely. So my thought process too was that we're going to do. You gave me some guidelines of what you wanted. You saw some stuff that you like, but I also knew that you were like, man, if you want to take it to another level, we'll do that, and that's what we did. Yes. Some of the subtleties on it really is very unique.
Yes, I think that's my favorite part about it. Is just it is unique, and it's not just like every other F-150 you're going to see on the road. It's like, whoa, I've never seen that before. Like we were talking about the taillights, like kind of went with that same black kind of smoked look, and I was like, I didn't say to do that. You just did it. Yeah. And it showed up on picture. I was like, okay, that looks really good. I'm glad he did that. Yeah. And just the different little small details. I love it.
And that's a risk too, because like, I mean, I felt like the vibe that you were putting off, you were going to be cool with that, but I've never really had a customer me do something without asking necessarily, and then be like, oh my gosh, I hate it. That's never happened, thankfully, but there's always that risk.
Yeah, like the little bit in the back of your head, you're like, oh man, he might hate that, but he's probably going to love it.
Yeah. So that you just, I was, whenever you saw it and were like,
when my face lit up and you're like, oh, thank goodness.
Yes, yeah. I wanted to send you the picture to make at that point, if there was an issue, hopefully you would have told me back then, that I could fix it real quick.
Like, okay, he's going to be here on this day. We got to get that done by now.
Yeah. But no, just me watching you and following you and seeing the type of stuff you post and create, I was very confident. I was like, he's going to love this. I'm not going to ask him because it's going to be a cool surprise, but he's going to love it.
I did.
So that's really cool. So let's touch on, like, if you're cool with it, the Braves experience. You obviously love being a Brave.
I did.
That was great. The connection that Akins has with the Braves organization goes back way before I was even born.
I wasn't even a thought then.
Yeah. So but the Braves organization and the Braves love that we have, and we got Braves rings and stuff everywhere. But that's special to us. But going through that system and being a part of that. Can you just share a little bit about your thoughts of the Braves organization as a whole?
They're a world-class organization. They do it right. And I'm going to just leave it at that kind of. They treat people with respect. They treat the minor leaguers well. I remember being in low A, and I got treated like I was going to be in the big leagues one day. And it didn't matter who you were, if you were a first-round draft pick or a 19th-round draft pick like I was. They didn't care. They were out there to make you better and doing everything they could to keep improving the organization, because it doesn't matter how good that first-round talent is if you're not surrounding him around other players that are going to be able to keep his game progressing. And if, like, you just got a bunch of high-end draft picks and then you got a bunch of guys that shouldn't be in pro ball, those guys aren't going to be able to develop as much because they're not being pushed by guys like, oh, I got to worry about this guy. He's pushing me to be better. We're learning from each other. And they're just such a good organization. I mean, they're winning, that's for sure. They're very good, and they're going to be very good. I mean, they keep locking up all these young guys, and couldn't be happier. I mean, I met some fantastic people over there, and I have lifelong friends over there. And so I look forward to watching this postseason. I wish I was playing in the postseason, but hopefully next year us and the Angels can do something. No
doubt, yeah. And I love the Angels as well. I'm an Anderson Simmons fan, so when he went over there, I took notice, and then big Pujols fan when Pujols went over there. Trout, obviously, too. We actually went to a few games back when Pujols was on the Angels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we even went to a game where he played third base. He started third base. We had third base seats, and he...
You probably weren't expecting that. You look at the lineup, wait, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really crazy. So I've been to that stadium twice. We took a beach trip and went out there and went to Dodgers, Padres, and Angels. So the Angel Stadium is really, really cool.
It is. I think we got like 2 more years there, I think.
Yeah.
And then, we're getting a new owner this year, so who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, the rocks out there, it's real cool. And they have these waterfall. They shoot out flames, like when somebody hits a home run, and they test them every day about middle batting practice, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So I'm out in center field, and all of a sudden these giant flames just shoot off. And I jump every day, and I'm just like, I'm going to get used to this one day.
Eventually.
Next day, nope, I'm jumping again. And it's just one of those, like, all right, maybe next year I'll get used to it.
Dang. Going back to the Braves, so I grew up obviously with, Fulton County was the Fulton County Stadium, the original stadium. That was there when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I actually went to a World Series game there in 91, and then they built Turner Field. Turner Field was a good experience too, but I went to several games there where it was like, man, you didn't feel, I guess, necessarily as confident where you were parking at, and then just there was not there was not like a community feel. It wasn't like it is at Truist now. Truist, and you can be a testament to this, just the environment and having all the amenities around the park. Like you even said it earlier, like there's no other real, I guess, total experience at a ballpark like Truist has got right now.
No, there really isn't. I think like just what the Battery has done for honestly all of Atlanta, and it's just kind of been big where it's like, oh, I don't want to spend the money to go to a game, but I want to go be a part of the atmosphere. You can go to Yard House. You can go wherever you want down there, and you can just go hang out. I remember during the World Series and the playoffs last year, like there's 200,000 people just standing out there watching the game just because they want to be a part of that. Oh, I couldn't afford the $1,000 tickets to get in because, everybody's really good and they want to go to the World Series games, but I get it. And it's one of those, all right, well, I can still go enjoy this. I can still do this. I don't have to be at home watching the game. And I think like Texas is starting to do something with their live kind of little area. Wrigleyville's done something. And I think we're going to continue to see that like over the next few years of like, sports is an entertainment industry, and we're supposed to be entertaining people, and it's supposed to be events. And I think we're going to get back into that of like, oh, like I can just go down here and hang out and watch the game. I can have a couple beers and then go home. I don't have to spend money on the tickets, but you're still creating revenue for these teams so they can continue to build.
Yes. And so I think didn't the Rams isn't the Rams' new stadium, isn't it kind of built with that same mentality?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't they have some of?
I think like right around it. I haven't been down to it
yeah.
yet. We were going to go to. I think we had a Thursday night. They had a Thursday night game in the season. We were going to go, but we like had to go on the road.
Yeah.
But I think there was like a big group of us like, hey, we should go to the Rams game. But I think it's like that. I mean, it's big, and I think it's all the like attractions. Like if you want to go tailgate, like can I go sit at a bar and watch it? That's a big thing, especially like football. Like you might not get tickets, or you're saving up for. You want to go to the Alabama game or like whatever the case may be. Like, oh, I want to go to the SEC championship game. I'm going to save my money, but I want to go tailgate in Athens this weekend. You can go do that. And I think like as we get that in professional sports, it's going to continue to grow the game.
Yeah, definitely. It will. And it's just good that they're realizing that that's kind of as times are changing, you need more of that personal connection or be able to still experience or feel the crowd or hear them while you're at a little pub next door or something.
Just get the little buzz of just being at the stadium and the atmosphere of like, oh, it's game day. Like, let's go. Let's do this.
Because it is different. Because, even my dad's getting this way as he's getting older. He's like, oh, I can just watch it on TV. I'm like, you still remember going to those games, or
you get the goosebumps whenever so-and-so runs out of the bullpen and it's like,
you cannot,
oh, the game's over. Like, we're about to win this. And then
you cannot,
so-and-so hits a home run. It's different yelling and screaming at your house. But when you watch that thing live and you watch it fly out of the ballpark, like when Soler hit that home run last year, I mean, I still get chills in my body. It's like, at that moment, everybody knew we won the World Series, but nobody said it. It was like, all right, we got a couple more innings to play, but everybody knew. I mean, we just knew.
You cannot duplicate the experience of actually being there.
No, seeing with your own eyes, it's not the same as seeing on your phone or on a TV screen. You know exactly where you were. I was like, oh, I sat third base, 20 rows up, and seat 2 or whatever seat you were in. You remember, and you've got the video on your phone, but you were jumping up and down, so you just see like random thoughts of people, and just it's awesome.
Yes, I tell my family all the time, we cannot make memories on the couch. If we're there, if we're at the game or if we're outside near the game, we're making memories.
Right, because you can be like, oh, I was at the Battery for Game 5 or whatever the case is, and be like, we did this, and this when so and so hit that home run. I was right here. Yeah. And then every time you go to that ballpark or wherever you're at and be like, oh, I sat right there for that World Series game or I did this.
It's hard to attach that memory to, I was sitting on the couch when we did that.
Yeah, I'm like, I just popped a bottle of champagne in my living room and then I went to bed at 11 p.m. That's all I did instead of, no, I went to the game, we popped champagne in the parking lot, and then we went out to the bars and did whatever.
Dude. So I was at Las Vegas at the SEMA show during that game that Soler hit that home run. It was on my birthday, November 2nd. So me and my wife were in a bar watching on TV. So I'm in Vegas, so I'm not there, but I'm not at not at my house. I'm in a bar, and there's a ton of Braves fans in there actually, and we're just watching the game. And Soler hits that home run, and it's just like I was like you. I was like, we won it.
We won it.
We won it.
Just don't mess this up. Just keep going, boys.
How epic of a home run was that?
I mean, I technically saw it, but I didn't see it because the way the bullpen is in Houston, you have the Crawford boxes, and it's like I can't see to the left, so I couldn't see the foul pole from like where you sit in the bullpen. You just don't have the view of it.
Yeah.
So he hits it to left field, and I just see his reaction. I mean, we all knew it was gone. The way he just like stood, turned, did his bat flip. We were like, oh, he got that. But like we got on the iPad after the inning, and then we saw how far he actually hit it, and we're like, oh, that ball went way out. That wasn't just a little, I popped it up. That was, I hit it to an apartment complex.
Crushed that ball. That was totally epic. That was unbelievable. So that was a great season of your life and great connections. Just the networking I've learned is I'm 37. As you grow older, you're going to have different seasons of your life, different organizations or teams you may be a part of, but take benefits out of all that. You're getting a lot of good connections, a lot of good memories, and moving on to where you are now.
Absolutely.
Speaking of good memories and good organizations, you went to a Georgia Bulldog game.
I did. First one.
He went to Georgia Auburn.
Yes, I did.
That's the oldest rivalry in the South.
Really?
Georgia Auburn is the longest ongoing rivalry in the South.
Well, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's like 100.
I mean, it was 14-0 at halftime. I was like, all right, let's get it going. And then they blew them out in the second half. I was like, okay, this is the Georgia I came to watch.
Exactly.
And now they're ranked number 1 in the country again.
Yes,
so.
And just the energy. I mean, you get that. I never had an experience like I did growing up going to Georgia games. Like the energy that the crowd and just the tailgating experience. Now kind of similar that the Braves are trying to duplicate or other places that we just mentioned, but just there's nothing like going to a game on Sanford Stadium on Saturday night or Saturday evening. But
not at all.
But Oklahoma fan.
Yes, grew up an Oklahoma fan.
Still an Oklahoma fan?
Yeah, I do enjoy them. Lincoln Riley was from about 45 minutes where I'm from, but
Really?
now he left. So he was from Canadian Texas. So we kind of had like the 806 is the area code. So I called him like the 806 boys. He has no idea who I am. But it was kind of like one of those like, okay, I'll root for you. And then obviously like he left, and it's like I really like Venables. They brought in a really good guy. They're terrible this year. But I think that's like you got growing pains. You had most of your talent left. You're bringing new guys, new system, everything like this. And I think they're going to have to adjust to be in the SEC and having to play Alabama and Georgia and Auburn, those big atmosphere games where you're not just going to play TCU or Baylor, who are good teams, but it's also one of those like you're not getting the same recruiting classes. And I think they'll step up and it'll be big for them, but I think it'll be an adjustment for the first few years.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess Venables came from Clemson.
Yeah, so he knows how to win big games, and he's
knows.
a defensive mind. So I think that was something that I think everybody kind of knew. It's like, we're going to have to play defense. We can't score 70 points against Alabama.
Yeah,
you can't score 70 points against Georgia. You're going to get run out of the gym.
I hope the Oklahoma fan base is realistic in that, like you're talking. You're realistically talking like it's going to take a couple years. I hope there's
You're
not
going to
people
get punched in the mouth before you figure out, oh, we got to do this. You're going to have to adapt to it.
But he's super legit as a coach because, I mean, he was a high-ticket item. People didn't want him to leave Clemson like that.
They're paying him $1.5 million a year just to be defensive coordinator because they didn't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, so he's of high value. So he'll be great. It's just time for him to learn.
Yeah, let's get your guys in. Let's get your coaches in there, and let's grow this program and just continue to build. I mean, that's what Kirby's done with Georgia. He wasn't great his first 2 years really, and then it's like, when did Georgia become like a national title contender like each year? And it's like, you just build that program and like, okay, this is my coaching staff, this is my guys, and you can build them like, oh, that's my quarterback's getting here in 2 years or whatever, and kind of learn and grow that community. Yeah,
that's huge. So I'm a diehard Georgia fan. Like I was 4 or 5 years old, screaming "Go Dogs!" Just love Georgia. Been through all the seasons of being average or below, and then a lot of mediocre seasons, and then a lot of heartbreaking seasons to where we just couldn't close Bama out, or couldn't win that particular game, or just couldn't get it done. So it was one of the best days of my life whenever they won the national championship.
That was such a great game too.
Yeah, it was. I think I may have been even talking to you around that time again too, because me and my son were not going to go, and then we decided. My wife was being a Debbie Downer. She's like, I'm not going to watch Georgia and Bama again. She would not go. So she didn't go, but me and my son last minute said we're going. So we went to the game, so we were there.
That's awesome.
So that was something I'll never
It's a memory that you'll never forget.
I'll never forget it, dude. But I hate my wife didn't get to go. That was tough.
She probably regrets it a little bit now.
Probably so.
She won't say though.
Yeah, but it's all good. So the truck's amazing. Thank you for doing that. How did that come? How did you connect with it? What made you realize or see? Was it Waters or?
It was a little bit of Waters. It was okay. I wanted to get a new truck, and I had an Audi, and I was like, I just need my truck again. Travel a bunch. I got a bunch of baseball gear. I got to be able to throw stuff, and I got to be able to pick up and go across country. Wasn't really feeling like I could do that with confidence in the Audi. So I saw a Range Rover with that carbonized gray a couple years ago, blacked out, and I was like, oh, that's the color I want. So I was like, okay. And then, like, as time, and I reached out to Waters, and I was like, where do you get your cars at? Like, because he's from Atlanta. He's like, go to Akins, go do this, blah, 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 blah. And gave me the steps, gave me your number. We hooked it up real quick.
Boom. Yeah. It was, we try. I mean, time and money are the two greatest commodities to me, and I like to try to convenience people with both. You know, good, easy process, time limit, boom, boom. And I've held you here a little bit longer today than I'd like.
Oh, no, you're fine.
You chilling with me today is phenomenal, dude. I really do appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know this about you. You say you're going hunting here coming up soon?
Yeah, Kyle Muller and I, we got a couple friends that are opening up their leases or whatever for us and trying to go get a deer. He's been tracking one for about 2 months. I think it's like a pretty decent sized 10 points. So hopefully he can he's never shot a deer before with a bow.
Oh, wow.
I think he's got a doe with a rifle, and he's like, no, I want to like track this deer. I want to do it all. Like, I want it to be my first deer. So I'm hoping he pulls it off this week. So
Where do you go hunt with?
I'm probably just going to help him kind of go through all that and just be like, hey, if you need like help cleaning, like whatever, just kind of enjoy it, because he's been my best friend the last like 5-6 years. So I kind of want to experience that with him. But I think we're going to go pig hunting probably once the Braves like get out of the playoffs or when the playoffs end. Right. He'll go back to Dallas, and he already said like it's game time. Like we got some pigs to take care of. So
yeah. So are we AR-15? Yeah. We using thermals or
thermal silencers 5.56? We're doing it all.
So you're legitimate. You're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's harder during the day because they're always not as active, but at night, you know how they are. You get on that thermal and you just see 50 of them, and you're like, oh, load it up, let's go, boys.
And I know some guys that have tried to like doing a spotlight or something. It's just you're not going to.
It's too hard, and it's too hard to shoot, especially whenever you can just set it up on a stand and kind of in like, all right, we're going to go in this wave or whatever the case is. But like driving around, especially out of a pickup or like even like a mule or Ranger. It's not easy when you're hitting bumps kind of out in the country and trying to shoot a gun.
Right.
It's not the easiest. So I think it's just one of those, you got to take your battles, and like if you got to chase them, you got to chase them.
Right. But if you got 3 or 4 in a pack, if you shoot one, are they going to, I guess, this even suppressed? Will they sometimes spook, or were you able to?
A little bit. It kind of depends. What we'll try to do is, like, say there's 2 or 3 of us shooting. We'll have them all like lined up, and we'll count down 3, 2, and on 1, we all shoot, so we can drop like 2 or 3.
Yep.
And then we kind of have a pattern of like, all right, I'm gonna go left, because once they see something drop or they hear it, they're running all over the place. Yeah. So, like, if I'm on the left side, all right, I'm gonna take the left side. So any pigs that go to the left, I'm gonna go. Guy in the middle is gonna be like, all right, I'll take straight back. So you're not crossing fire and everything, and you're just like, anything left, I've got. Right. Anything middle, he's got. Anything right, you got. And so you can kind of knock them out. But after you shoot the first few, it's just like pray they keep going, and you can get a good shot off.
Yeah. So you're doing a fun service. You're doing a service because they're definitely they're problematic.
I mean, they rip up crops, they rip up fences. I mean, you're getting cattle leaked out because you got a bunch of hogs ripping through the barbed wire fence. And ranchers don't want to deal with it. They ain't got time. They're trying to worry about their horses and cows and stuff like that. And I'll go out there for free or just whenever and be like, hey, you want me to shoot pigs? Please, shoot 20 this week. All right, cool. I'll be there.
Yeah. We have we have hunting. The whitetail deer is kind of the main ticket item in Georgia. That's kind of, I guess, in duck hunting. Those are probably the 2 most things that people, I guess, get attached to or get passionate about. So whitetail deer is kind of our thing, and we have corn feeders and all that stuff, and we have to actually like put fences up around the corn feeders now. Because if we don't, it's just we're feeding the hogs. Yeah. So it's, and
they're going to get bigger and bigger, and you don't want that. But they reproduce so fast, it's hard to kind of keep them. But trapping's been a lot bigger. Guys will get their like feeders out right there. One will step on the trigger, and all these traps go down. And man, I don't know. But I saw they were trying to find like some like chemical that only kills pigs. Really? That you could like kind of like a deer feed you'd put out. Right. But it won't mess with any of the other animals. So I don't know how that'll work, but it's 2022. Who knows what they can come up with now.
But just something to eradicate the numbers. I mean, they're
just because they can reproduce so fast. It's like, oh, I killed 100, but 200 more have been born in the last 5 months. And it's like, I know, this process isn't going to go well. We're going to be overrun, and they're going to be in backyards in middle of Atlanta soon.
It's tough. So I guess just you being from Texas is just kind of how you got accustomed to hunting. I guess just growing up, or were you
growing up and friends would be like, hey, we're going dove hunting this week, you want to go? Yeah, for sure. So I think duck hunting is one of my favorites too. Just kind of, you're up early with the boys and you're just hanging out, and then all of a sudden you start hearing them, and then you're like, oh, it's go time, and you get all excited. So
deer hunting I guess is the most has the most solitude, where you have to be quiet and you're just most typically by yourself.
Right, and it's kind of one of the most satisfying, especially like if you're sitting in a blind and like you've been waiting a couple days and you passed on a couple, like, oh, I'm gonna get them next year. Yeah, and you see that big one come out and you smoke them. That's a good feeling of like, I can breathe. All right, let's go find this thing now.
Yeah, but when a dove field is just, you can't keep your gun loaded fast enough, or if it's a really good duck hunting morning, that's hard to top to.
Yeah, because that's just a fun day. Yeah. You're just enjoying life.
It's a good time. We have a little black lab that he likes to go. He loves to retrieve. So whenever we can watch a dog work too, that's a lot of fun.
I think that's a beautiful aspect that people don't really realize, is how smart dogs are, and you can just let them go out there. They're going to pick them up, bring them right back to you, and you're like, man, I didn't have to get wet. I didn't have to do anything, and he's having a blast.
Now, my dad, he's a big squirrel hunter. So like after deer season's over with, he likes to squirrel hunt. He has squirrel dogs. And that's just a whole nother thing.
Where they just run up to the tree, right, and they start barking?
Yeah, he just basically he'll drive down the road and they'll run in front of him. If they get a scent, they'll just peel off and go find it, or just the traditional way, we'll just walk through the woods and they'll stay ahead of us and they'll find the scent of one and have one.
What do you shoot it with?
22 rifle.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah, because a little bit of marksmanship. I was raised with, my grandfather was like, you're not killing anything unless you kill it first without a scope. So he was
iron sights.
Yeah, iron sight. So I did a lot of squirrel hunting. So you're thinking 60 yards in a tree, wind blowing in a limb. It's kind of hard.
And you got about 3 inches to miss. That's about it.
Yeah, and he was the type of him and my dad both. If I didn't shoot it in the head, if I shot in the body, you could good job, but I'd have shot it in the head. Just
like, oh, I would have done this.
Trying to make me a man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, none of this participation.
Focus on the
stuff.
finer details. Yes.
Yeah, no participation stuff. Just
no, I don't do that.
Yeah,
stuff.
That's good.
I think that's a South thing, though.
Yeah. That's.
You got to earn your stripes.
You need to. Yeah. No artificial. Yeah. No artificial gratitude there. So tell me what the off season entails for you.
Really just I'm going to take 2 weeks off of kind of doing everything, kind of give the body a little time to adjust and wind down from the season, kind of let it, like all the nagging inflammation, just stuff like that, just kind of heal and kind of get ready to start the off-season program. It's going to consist of lifting, throwing, running, just normal stuff. But I think this year's kind of endurance is kind of a big thing for me. I just like need to continue to be strong after 150 innings, be able to do it each year for the next 5-10 years, and then kind of go from that and just continue to keep the velo up. And as the season gets longer, don't want that velocity to start dropping. You want to be able to stay strong and healthy.
So you're a believer in lifting weights?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If you're not lifting weights, you're going to be falling behind, because that's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you strong, and probably going to help you throw harder or hit further home runs or whatever the case is.
Definitely.
But I think the gym's the most important thing, especially for young kids, because your body's still developing and growing. You got to teach them how to move fast, how to be strong, how to handle all the stress that you're putting on your arm, and how much you're going to be running and doing those different things.
And just ways to create leverage with your body, ways to
if I can push off my left leg a lot of pounds of force into the ground, probably going to throw pretty hard.
Yeah. So the Norfolk County where my son goes just won a state title I told you about earlier. He basically tells us parents, he says, we're a weightlifting team that plays baseball.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's his mentality. And I played college ball, and I see the way they practice. He practices them like they're in a college atmosphere. Like it's a college practice. When I watch their practice, they're practicing like they're a D1.
Right. So when they leave, it's not not a culture shock. Like, oh, I've been doing this the last 4 years. And I'm good to go. And then that starts as freshmen, and by seniors, they're developed into everything you should be. And I think that's a big thing.
It is
just developing your guys the way you want them to be built and the men they should be.
They're doing it the right way.
That's good.
He tells us too. He says we're going to win the game, but we're also going to win the national anthem. He says,
I like that.
He says, you're going to look at my boys, and they're going to look like they're ball players more so as far as physicality.
Right. The intimidation factor. Like, oh, man, they're all,
yeah,
that's all they are.
And I told you they had 9 kids throwing over 90, so they're doing. Are you a big drive line guy too?
I am. I was just there this last week.
I think I saw you post something yesterday of that too. So that's something that's really helped with.
Yeah, I mean, I started in college. I mean, I was throwing like 88, 90 in college, and I was like, I do not like school. I want to play baseball, but this isn't going to cut it. So that was kind of like my first, like, all right, I got to go after it. So I learned the drills all on myself, didn't really go up there. And then I went up there after 2019 season was the first year, and kind of been back and forth the last 3-4 years. So I enjoy it. I got a great group over there, and they got to figure it out. They know how to throw hard. They know how to keep you healthy. They've got all the analytics side, pitch design.
Yep.
They know what they're doing.
Spin rate,
velocity, vertical break, horizontal break, Magnus flow. I mean, we can talk about the pitch physics all day, and it's still learning it daily.
Yeah, but it's good that you're open to that. I guess a lot of old school people may not want to embrace that newness of baseball, the analytic side, and all that stuff. But it's really stuff that if you can use to your benefit, it's going to help you.
I mean, if you're going to hit 100 on sliders and 400 on fastballs, I'm not throwing you a fastball.
Yeah.
And that's the analytics. And I think like the old school's, we have to do this. It's like, well, if he's going to swing at 3 sliders in the dirt, I'm throwing 3 sliders in the dirt. I'm going to get you out in how many pitches I can get you out in. I don't need to develop my fastball and make it, I got to throw a fastball into this guy just because that's what you're supposed to do. No,
yeah.
I'm going to get you out in these pitches, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Yep. So you were throwing, your fastball was 88 to 90 in high school?
Yeah, I think I hit 92 my senior year, and then and that was gas. Like I remember I hit 88 going into my junior year of high school, and like I remember Washington State came and was like, I've never seen a left-handed pitcher throw that hard in high school. And like he like looked at me and was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I remember like as I got into college, I was like, guys are starting to throw a little harder. And then now it's like, you're not throwing 95. You're not getting drafted in the first 10 rounds. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, but still, I think to anybody, it's impressive if you're throwing upper 80s.
If you're throwing upper 80s, low 90s, that's hard. I don't care who it is. I mean, still guys in the MLB throw 95, but it's also you got a handful of guys that are still throwing 88, but their ball moves all over the place. And I think you kind of have to figure out who you are as a pitcher. Like, all right, I throw sinkers. I need to make the ball move. I need to learn how to start it here. I need to throw it with this velocity. Oh, I'm a 4-seam guy. I need to throw hard, and I need to make sure I can get swings and misses and have a competitive breaking ball.
So do you throw the fastball the most? Do you?
This year I threw sliders about 40% of the time, 40% fastball, and then like 20% changeup curveball. So I think that's just kind of, my slider's really good. Like it plays off the charts, especially because it's 88, and then I throw 94, 95 out of the fastball. So I think it's just one of those. I don't have the most swing and miss fastball. It doesn't really move a ton. It doesn't have the spin rate, but it's hard and it's got vertical approaching or vertical break.
Right.
So basically the rising effect of, oh, that went up, I have that. And it's always like, man, he throws a heavy fastball. That's what I have. I just don't have the spin rate that gets all the whiffs and everything. But then I throw a slider 4 miles an hour difference, and it's got 18 different inches in vertical break. So it's like completely different pitch, 4 miles an hour difference.
I guess sometimes it could run more down, or sometimes it could run more.
Yeah, so I can make it go sweep more, or I can put more vertical break and have it go straight down. And I think that's kind of something I'm going to play with this offseason of like, how much can I make it go sideways? How much can I make it go down without losing velocity, and just making it two different pitches of like, this guy struggles with it going straight down. This guy struggles with it going into his leg, and I think into his back foot. So I could start sliders early in the count and throw them with more sweep, and then I can throw one with more vertical break.
Yes,
I think that's stuff with analytics we haven't been able to see, but now we are.
No, yeah, that's absolutely. And so that's not new to me, but it's just every time I see that stat of you're throwing your fastball and your slider about the same amount of times. Because old school mentality is fastball, you're going to throw your fastball the most always. But there's a lot of people like you that is just equal to another pitch, or maybe even have a pitch that you throw more than a fastball.
Right, yeah. I mean, our pitches are graded now, and every pitch is like, no, that one was bad. And you're like, well, it was 95. But yeah, but your vertical break and all this, that was 5 inches below than what it normally is. And that can vary each day. Like someday you might be able to ride that thing.
So they'll grade you daily on.
Oh, you're graded daily on everything.
On a bullpen session or whatever.
Everything. I get a full sheet, and it's like pitch 1, 94.5 at 2100 spin rate, 18 inches of vertical break with 3 inches of horizontal break. This vertical approach angle, this, and it spits out a score for like 1 to 200, and 100's average. You threw that pitch at 180. Okay, that was a really good one. 2 pitches later, I threw a fastball at 40. Like 40 grade. And so you're like, oh man, I see why I gave up that hit. Or how did that guy hit that pitch? And you're like, okay, it's not a good pitch right there. I cut the ball. I did this. I threw this one 2 miles an hour slower, and it graded way worse. Just those little things. So you can kind of like monitor of like, all right, my fastball was out of whack last game. I can go in my bullpen and be like, I need my metrics to be right here so I know my fastball's back to where it needs to be.
That's awesome, though. I mean, just having that knowledge and having that information.
It's great, but then also teams can kind of use that into your disadvantage. Like, oh, your stuff's down. We're going to send you down, or whatever the case may be. But it's also one of those like, okay, I can keep myself at the check.
Right. They're overanalyzing, rightfully so, everything, but it's also something that it kind of holds you accountable more, or I guess you see, it keeps you on point as far as wanting to progress and not wanting to, I guess, just sit on your heels and not.
Right, because if you're throwing well, and they might be like, oh, just keep throwing, instead of being like, no, like, we're going to continue to get better. Like, we can make this pitch better. We can make your command better, however, like, it might be. So I think we can just kind of learn from that.
Yeah. When I was, I had some baseball talent, but, I didn't work hard enough. When I was in high school and even in college, I know now looking back, my immature self, how you are when you're growing up, there's always more I could have done. So that always kind of haunts me.
Right.
But if in this day and age, if I would have had that information, I think it would have held me accountable more so. Because well,
you're going to see your friends throwing, and you're like, oh, I don't have that.
Yeah. Why am I not
around? Yeah. And I think that's kind of how it is now. I think like kids realize like, oh, this guy does this. He went first round in the draft. I needed to get to that point. And it kind of sets the metrics versus like, oh, I just need to hit 400 and I need to have a 2 ERA, wherever the case may be. No, I need to do these things to put myself in them. And it's your career. I mean, you might be 16 figuring it out, but at 22, you might be in the big leagues. You never know. You
just gotta have a good mindset and be willing to do whatever it takes.
It's not easy, and you're supposed to fail in this game. If you succeed 3 times out of 10, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So
that's the biggest thing. I'm still coaching my son's travel team, and it's like we have a lot of good athletes, but they still are mentally don't know how to approach the game correctly. They'll in a weekend's tournament they may go, 3 for 15, but they had some really good at bats.
You might lined out 4 times.
Yeah, but they can't get past that. The failure is there. But it's like even when we tell them this is a game of failure, and how you handle it and how you bounce back is really what's going to define you. Mm-hmm. It's still so tough for kids growing up. The mental aspect of baseball being a failure sport and getting.
Oh, it happens at the big league level too. Trust me. The best way I've heard it and people put it to me is process over outcome. Enjoy the process. Enjoy going out. All right, I didn't have a good one. I need to do better this one. And you have that little hungry dog in you where you're like, I'm going to go get them in 4 days. Or, I just shoved. I'm getting on a roll here, boys. And you can tell your friends, I'm like, I punched 10 last week. Yeah, I'm about to punch 10 again. Who we got this week? We got the Yankees. They're screwed, or whatever the case is. You can kind of build off of that or be like, okay, I got the Yankees. I'm going to have a little bit of dog in me. I'm going to be a little extra nasty this week, or whatever the case may be. So
yeah, I like the process over the result. I live by that. And everything I do too, it's like, man, I tell myself I'm gonna do something. Like I'm gonna go hard on social media for the next 10 years. I'm gonna go hard regardless of how many likes or whatever.
Think about, look at you probably 2 years ago. You probably didn't have near the following.
Oh, dude, it's changed my life. And
and now it's you stuck with the process, and now we're looking at the outcome.
Yeah,
imagine what it could be in 5 years.
Exactly. I can't wallow in the success we've had now. I got to still keep my head down because I said 10 years. If I attack social media with everything I have for this business and for myself, and not worry about the short term results that I'm getting post to post or month to month. But if I just know that if I keep my head down and just give it all I got, it's going to be successful. And that's anything in life. I think if you just really want something bad enough and willing to do whatever it takes, and know that's going to take some time. Yeah, it's not going to be a short term evolution.
It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, so that's good, dude. It's been phenomenal talking to you. They're wanting you to go to the business office to. He hadn't actually bought his truck yet. He's about.
We're waiting on the credit.
About to buy it right now. But I guess tell me, lastly, from the Angels standpoint, what's been the coolest thing? Is who you got to talk to. Did you get to spend much time with Trout or? Yeah,
I'm in a fantasy league with him.
Are you really?
Yeah, we had like a team fantasy league.
Yeah.
So I'm 5-0. My team's really, really good. I get trade offers like daily from like coaches. Like, hey, you willing to trade them? I'm like, nope. Y'all should have drafted better. But I think just watching him and Ohtani. Yeah. Ohtani's kind of, I like to call him a unicorn because he's not, I don't think he's a real person, but he is. Like he throws 100 miles an hour and then hits a home run the same day. And I'm like, how do you do this? And like, he's an incredible athlete person. He's awesome. So I think just like learning from those guys, they're superstars, top 5 players in the league. And I think it's one of those, you just got to watch what they do, follow them and be like, why does he do this? Why does he do that? And just kind of learn from them and then ask questions whenever they're kind of presented. Be like, hey, why did you not swing at this pitch but you did this? Or why did you throw this pitch? And kind of like learning from like, I never thought about that way.
I'm sure Ohtani is just a God-given talent.
A lot of it is God-given, but I mean, he works hard.
I'm sure he works hard.
Like, he does driveline as well, and we have the same guy, and he's like, I get 20 questions before every start from Shohei. Just like, hey, what does this guy do with sliders at 86 with 15 inches of horizontal movement?
Really?
Just like things where he's thinking in his head of like, okay, if I throw this one with more sweep, how's he going to play to this guy?
He'll ask the driveline guy?
Yeah, because he does like all of his analytics and stuff like that because they compute him in an algorithm and spits it out and be like, this guy hits 100 on sliders that are 86 with 15 inches of horizontal movement. Tony's going to know that going in the game, and he's going to get a bunch of sliders like that. Or if he needs to throw it harder, he's going to know that. And, all right, late in counts, he doesn't swing at fastballs very much. He's going to throw fastballs late in the count. And I think he's very prepared, and we have all the information, so you can go into a game and you're fully studied and still get rocked, or you can be in there and be like, I'm just out here throwing and get rocked. I mean, it's one of those, it's baseball. It's the process over the outcome.
Yeah. Yep.
Do everything you need to do and where you feel like you're going to be best and successful. And if it doesn't work out that day, you go straight back to that same process. You're not changing it.
Yeah. You got to have short-term memory.
Yep.
All the way around. So Ohtani is like just cool. He's a cool dude.
Great dude. So's Trout. They're awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice to me whenever I came over, and I hope we can do some big things next year because we got a lot of talent over there.
Yeah. There's always been teams. The Angels teams have always had the nucleus. You can see some of the players that they've always had a strong lineup,
right?
So it's just putting it together and making it happen. Do you think Ohtani or Judge, who's going to win the?
I mean, what Judge did this year was awesome. I mean, when he hit 62, 63, I can't remember what he ended with. I mean, that's unbelievable. He broke a record. But Ohtani's doing both, so I'm biased because it's like Ohtani's my teammate, so I agree.
It's got to be Ohtani. I mean,
I think it's a mixture of both. I think. No offense to Goldsmith, but I don't think there should be an NL MVP this year. I think it should be 2 AL guys. And I think it goes down to like who are the 2 best players in baseball that year.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. So.
Yeah, I agree with you there because there's been multiple years where you've had, really 2 legit MVPs on one side.
Right, and it just, and so it's like, it's not fair to everybody, but it's also, it just stinks.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm gonna stay in touch with Tucker. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna stay in touch with you and rooting for you. I got Tommy's jersey in here. I'm gonna try to go hunting with him. I've tried to find. I made a video of your truck I'll put out soon, but I wanted to get a Tucker Davidson Angels jersey.
Okay.
I found several Braves ones, but I was looking for
We'll get you something figured out.
Or if not, I'm just going to go online and build me one and do it. Cause I want to, anybody that I've had the privilege of doing something with, I love having something of theirs,
right.
You know, so I may get me a Davidson jersey and I'll reveal it in another video or something.
Sounds great to me.
I'll rock with it. And maybe I'll do a follow-up video maybe down the road of how you've been liking your truck and how your hunting success has been and all that. But
well, hopefully I have it filled with pigs one day. So.
Yes. Yes. I'd love to see it, dude. Love to. We just talked for 40 minutes.
Really? That was quick.
Dude, it goes by so fast.
It does.
I did a 2-hour one in here not too long ago, and it just really it goes by. When you got a good
when you can flow back and forth.
Yeah, when you got a good person that you can dialogue back and forth with, and I mean I consider you my friend already.
Yeah, we're definitely friends.
You know, I mean, some people you talk to, you don't hit it off with quite as good, but like I feel like me and you on the same wavelength all the way around, from the truck to
hunting and
everything.
baseball. Yes, I agree.
All right, I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
See, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was easy.
Cool?
I didn't believe it was 40 minutes.
Wasn't that cool, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.